variable? Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is variable?
Variable can hold and single field.
Single field value. Okay. So work
And it
area.
is temporary memory.
Work area can hold a single record.
Single record.
Okay. Record means
Collection of
fields.
fields.
And internal table can hold multiple records.
Multiple fields. Multiple records.
Each record is with multiple fields. So when these data objects will be active?
Application.
The program runtime.
Programming runtime.
Only in the program runtime. Okay. So these are the keywords. These are the keywords what we use in ABAP to define, to declare the data objects, and to display the output. These are all the keywords. Okay. So first we'll see data. What is data keyword? Data keyword is used to define the data objects, like to create some memory for the data objects. Okay. First we have to create the memory for the data objects, then we can store the value in the program level. Okay. So when you log into the system or servers, you should be able to see this one. This is called SAP logon. Okay. This is called SAP logon. Here we configure the different SAP systems. Okay. So these are the different SAP systems. The first one is BW system, that is OLAP system. So we don't need that system. So the remaining two are S4 HANA 2020, S4 HANA 2020, 2021. These two are ERP systems, SAP ERP systems. One is 2020 version and the another one is 2021 version. Okay, but both are ERP systems with different versions. Okay, so these two systems runs on SAP HANA database. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
So we have whatever the system we need to access, first we need to configure here in this SAP logon pad, and then we can use that system. So how to create the new connection? If you want to add a new system to here, how to create? Now go just click on create new connections. Click on next. Here you need to provide system name. For example, S4 HANA 2022. Let's say there is a new version of the system. Then you have to provide the system ID, instance number, application server. Application server means IP address of the system. These details should be provided by the system administrator. Okay. System ID, instance number and application server should be provided by the admin team, system admin team. Okay. And click on finish. Then when you click on this, you're going to see this login screen. This login screen. What you can find in login screen, username and password. Okay. You need to enter username and password. Who needs to provide username? The system admin will provide you the initial password with your username. Okay. So here username and password is clear, right? We have another two fields, that is client and language. First we'll see login language. What is login language? SAP supports multiple languages. Okay. Whatever the language key you selected here, the data will be displayed in that language. Okay. Just like I think I'm not able to see the languages here, but in general, when you click on the browser, you can see languages here.
Here symbol will.
Yeah, if I click on Telugu, the content will be available in Telugu, right? So everything is in Telugu, right?
Sama.
If I select Hindi, so everything will be in Hindi. But options, features are same. But only language will be like the displayed language will be different. Okay. So it depends on the language key. EN is for English, DE is for German language, JP is for Japan. Like that, we have hundreds of languages. So SAP supports multiple languages. Is it clear? Whatever the language key you selected here, the data will be displayed in the corresponding language. Clear? Now we'll see client. We have a client number, right? So different like in different projects, they are going to use different client numbers. In some projects they use 100, 200, 300. Okay, in some projects they use 100, 101, 102. Okay, client number is depends on the project. They can use any client number, not any client number within 900. Okay, what is client number? Let's say this is the SAP server, SAP S4HANA 2021 server. Client is just like a logical partition between data. What is client?
Client is a logical
Logical
partition.
partition of the data. Okay. Server is same. The server is same, but only we are partitioning the data. Whatever the data, whatever the records you created in client number 100 is not visible to client number 101. Whatever the data available in client number 102 is not visible to client number 100 and client
100.
number 101. There is a logical partition. The records which you created in client number 100 is only available for client number 100. Those records are not available for client number 101 or 102. Okay. For example, there is a company called Tata Group. So how many companies they have for Tata Group?
So many.
So many companies like, okay, Tata Cars, Tata Coffee, Tata
Tata
Steel, etc.
Finance,
For example, Tata Group purchased a server and they have assigned one client for
Airlines,
Tata Cars, one client for the other client is for
Airlines,
okay, okay. Now, so whatever the business data created for Tata Cars should not be available for Tata Steel company
Tata Steel,
employees. Okay, so that data should be only available for Tata Cars employees only. So that the system admin creates user ID for client number 100 for the Tata Car employees. The system admin will create user ID in 101 for Tata Steel employees so that they can log in only in that specific client, the corresponding employees, and they can access only the corresponding business data. Okay. But there is some data which will be commonly shared between all these three clients. There will be some data which is common and which is accessible by all these three clients. Okay. What we call that kind of data?
client independent.
Client independent data. And the data which is specific to the client is called
Client,
client
client,
dependent data. So the client dependent data is only available for the particular client. It is not going to be available for other clients. Okay. The client independent data will be available for all the clients of the system. Any client can access that data. Okay. So I'll show you how to restrict, like how to add that client independent or client dependent property to the data. Okay. So also in general, let's take a development system, development server. So we have three servers in general in any project, in any software, we have three servers. One is a development server, testing server, and production server.
production, sir.
Production server. In development server, the developers will create the application
Code,
programs. In testing servers, we use it for testing. Testing team will use it for testing the applications, whatever created by the developers. What is production server? Production server is a live system where day-to-day business transactions are going to happen. So whatever the systems using in bank or whatever the systems using in any shopping mall, they're all production systems. Okay. In general, in development system, we can use two clients. One is 800 and another one is 801. That is, one is for development and another one is for unit testing. Another client is for unit testing. We can use client in such scenario also. One is for development and another one is for client is for unit
Unit
testing.
testing.
So what is unit testing? What is difference between testing and unit testing? Testing will be handled by the testing team, a dedicated testing team. But what is unit testing? Unit testing is a basic testing performed by the developer who created the application. Okay, the developer itself will perform the unit testing, whether his code is working as expected or not. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
What is testing? Testing is a full-fledged testing performed by a dedicated testing team. They'll check many scenarios. They'll do negative testing, positive testing, and everything. Okay. Unit testing is a very basic testing performed by the developer before before moving that
Releasing
change
the code.
to the test system. Okay. Now let's log on to the system. So enter the user ID and enter the password. This is the initial screen. This is the SAP Initial Screen. Okay. Now this is the SAP Initial Screen. So how to find the database? What is the database configured for this application server or for this SAP server? I told you, right? We have three layers. Now we are using presentation layer. This is the presentation layer. What we are using, this is the presentation layer. By using presentation layer, we can execute the application programs. What is the database for this? Go to system, status. Scroll down. So what is the database?
HDB.
HDB. HDB means HANA database. Okay. HDB means HANA database. Someone logged in. Sai, did you log into the system? Okay.
Okay, Anna.
Okay. What? This is the application server. Host data, right? This is application server details. So that application server is running on Linux operating system, and this is the database server. Okay. Is it clear?
Okay, Anna.
Okay.
Let's check another server, that is ECC. ECC is the previous version. ECC is the previous version of S4 HANA. ECC supports multiple databases, like based on the customer choice, they can install the database. So what is the database that ECC is using? MS SQL Server,
MSQ.
Microsoft
SQL.
SQL Server. So they can also use Oracle. But starting from S4 HANA version, SAP is not supporting other databases. Okay? SAP is supporting only HANA database. HANA database is the SAP own database, developed and designed by HANA. Sorry, SAP company. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So this is the SAP Initial Screen, right? So whatever the application you need to execute, whatever the action you need to perform in SAP, it's all linked with the transaction codes. What do we call them? Transaction
Transaction.
codes. Each application is going to have a separate transaction code. Okay? For example, there are multiple development transaction codes. What are development transaction codes? They are used to create the programs, create the applications. They're going to use by developers, ABAP developers. And there are many business transactions. What are these business transactions? These business transactions will be used by end users who's working on the production systems to create, for example, to create sales orders, to create invoice, to create bill, okay, to create a new employee record, to create employee salary data. There is a separate transaction for each application. So there are development transactions and business transactions. So as a developer, as a ABAP developer, we need to use development transactions. Clear?
Yes.
Now, SC38. What is SC38 transaction code? This is
Equal.
ABAP workbench. We call it as ABAP workbench or ABAP editor, where we create programs. So in SC38, we create the new programs, custom programs, and also access standard programs. Okay. So we can create a new program, or we can access existing programs or existing standard programs. What is standard program? Which is already delivered by SAP, which is developed by and delivered by SAP as part of the standard solution, right? That is standard program. What is custom program?
We can create.
Custom program is custom program is the program which we create for our own requirement, for our own business requirements. Okay. So how can you identify the difference between standard program and a custom program? All custom objects in SAP should start with Z or Y. All the custom objects name in SAP should start with Z or Y.
Or
Okay, that is the rule. So
custom.
whenever you find an object which starts with Z, which the name of the object starts with Z or Y, that is a custom object. That might be a program or a table, custom table. Okay. Now let's create a program. Z demo underscore Uh, so the program name should not contain the blank spaces. Naming convention, the name should be some meaningful name. Okay, name should be some meaningful name. There is no rule that we have to use underscore, but there should not be empty space. You can use underscore. Okay, but that name should starts with Z or Y. Okay, the remaining name as per the program logic, a meaningful, just a meaningful name. Clear? Create the program, provide a title. Title represents the purpose of the program. Okay, here we have different types of programs. Executable program, include program, module pool, etc. For now, we are going to select executable program. What is executable program? Executable program can execute independently. Executable program can execute independently. It accepts the input and display the output independently. Okay, what is executable program?
It is independently execute.
It executes
Execute.
independently.
Okay.
It can accept the input and provide the output. Okay, that is the type of the program, executable program. Click on save. Now, it will ask for a package where you need to save the program. It is like a folder. When you are saving a file, it will ask for a folder, right? In which folder you want to save this package, so in this file. Similarly, it is expecting a package where you want to save this program, in which package. Okay, so package is like depends on the module, depends on the business solution. We use a package. For example, for sales and distribution application, we use GSD. For material management related applications, we use ZMM, etc. Okay, package name is depends on the project. Okay, for now we'll use local object. Local object is also a local package. Okay, or you can also use dollar $TMP. This is a local package, or you can simply click on local object. So it's saved in local object. So what is the first statement of the program?
Data.
Report. Report and the program name. This is the mandatory statement for every program. It will create by default. So these are all comments. The above lines, right? These are all comments. You can write the purpose of the program here. Okay, like you can also mention the date when this program got created and what is the purpose of the program. Everything you can mention here. So if you use the star symbol right in the beginning, that is a comment. Okay, the commented lines cannot be executed. Clear? So to comment any code, in the ABAP program, you can use control right arrow and left arrow. Control right arrow is to uncomment, control left arrow is to comment the code. you can find these arrows next to M, left arrow and right arrow. Okay, these are to comment and uncomment the code. For example, if you want to comment multiple lines, select the lines and control right arrow. Now we uncommented the code. Select it, control left arrow, we commented the code. Clear? Is it clear?
Sir.
Now just display some output. So what is the statement to display the output in ABAP? Write
Right.
statement. Write statement. So every statement should end with the period, dot. Every statement should end with the dot. Okay. So what type of data it is? I'm trying to display this one, demo output. What type of data it is? Is it a character type data or a numerical data?
Numerical. Character.
Character.
Character data, right? For character data, we have to use single quotes. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Now, so my program is completed. What is the next step? How to check whether there is any errors in the program or not. How to check the syntax check? How to do the syntax check? We can also call syntax check. What is syntax check? To find the errors in the program. Control F2. Control F2, or you can also click this symbol. No syntax errors found in the report. No syntax error found in the report. ZDemo first programs. That means no errors in the program. Let's say I'll comment this first statement. I commented the first statement. Let's check the syntax. The report program statement is missing. Okay, it's saying that mandatory report statement is missing. Let's say I'll add one more E to the write statement. Check the syntax. What is it saying?
Spelling mistake. Right is
The
not
statement right
accepted
is not
as a correct
expected.
similar.
A correct similar statement
Right.
is right. It is automatically suggesting the correct name. Right? What I can simply do? So
Replace.
it is correct, right? The correct statement is right. We can just click on this symbol, correct errors. It will automatically correct that syntax error. Or you can also manually remove it. Right? So there is no syntax errors. We have pretty printer. What is pretty printer? There is no significance of pretty printer, but it will just format the code. Okay, it will just format the code in some proper order. Pretty printer is used to format the code in some proper order. Okay, but syntax check is important, right? Now what is the status of the program? It is inactive. Before executing, the program should be activated. Activate the program. The program is activated now. Clear?
Hello.
Program should be activated. Now program is in active state. Now execute the program. How to execute the program? Simply
Right.
click on F8 or click on this direct processing. Okay. Simply click on F8 or direct processing. Right? Is it clear?
Yes.
This is the output, demo output. Now let's create one more program. What is the type of the program?
Executable.
Executable program. Click on save. Local object. Now we'll try to use some data objects. How to define a data object? Using data
Functional
statement.
tables are
Using data statement. Data uh, data lv underscore will use some name for variable. Lv underscore text. Type C. What is C? What is
char-
C? Character. C means character. Okay. If we don't provide any length, what is the default length of this? 1. That is character 1. That is, it can store A or B or 1 or 2. It can store a single letter, single value. We don't provide any length. Okay. Now write lv underscore text. Do we have any value in lv underscore text? Do we have any value in lv underscore text?
oh,
No. We just created the data object and there is no data in it. We just created some empty data object. There is no data in it. To populate data to this data object or variable, this is the variable, right? LV means I'm saying that it is a local variable. It is just a naming convention. You can use any name, okay? But should be a meaningful name. I'm passing some value to the variable. Okay, check the syntax. No syntax errors. Activate the program and execute it.
comma. Yeah.
Why it is displaying only one letter?
Type C.
We have provided type C, but the default length of type C is 1. Okay, length. We have to provide the length specification. For example, length 10. Now it can accept 10 letters. Clear? Now it can accept the complete text. Clear? Now we'll define one more variable. What is the statement to define? What is the keyword to define any variable or to define a data object?
Data.
Data. What is this n? Number. Length 10. Okay. Length is 10. Do we have any value in LV underscore phone? What is the value we have in LV
No,
underscore phone? There is no value. We just
no,
created
there is no value.
a empty data object with length 10. Okay, with empty we created an empty variable with length 10.